I'd like your take. I mean, you're somebody who is steeped in politics. What is your take on the damage that 44 days of Liz Truss being PM has done to Britain, both economically and politically? Internationally and at home?
Well, internationally, there's no doubt it was bad. I mean, I think since Brexit, the international media is in a kind of mood to be rude about Britain, to condemn Britain and to talk about Britain as though it's a basket case economically. I think Liz Truss's premiership helped them do that. And certainly the sort of never-ending chaos in the Tory party and the British government since Brexit hasn't helped. And Liz Truss is seen as a sort of culmination of that. In the short term, or the medium term, as people love to talk about the medium term at the moment, I think she's actually done Rishi Sunak a great favour. Let's imagine that Rishi Sunak had won the contest in the summer. He would have come in facing a lot of the problems that Liz Truss faced and sort of blew up, almost. She's done that for him. So in a sense, she sort of cleared the ground.
And he's just got to pick up the pieces, then.
He's got to pick up the pieces, which are substantial. But most of those pieces were already in need of picking up.
Yeah.
But I think that the damage to the economy, I think, was probably going to happen, perhaps not as quickly as it did after the mini-budget. But certainly the bigger perspective on the British economy is not good. He now comes in as someone who's seen to be fixing the mess, and he's seen as a pragmatist and not an ideologue. And people seem to like pragmatists at the moment, and they fear ideologues, even though Liz Truss, I think, was unfairly dubbed an ideologue, because actually she didn't really stand for much. But
do you think we're going to see the end to what's being dubbed the pantomime and see some proper politics coming out now?
I think you'll certainly see efficiency and organisation. Rishi Sunak is famously a hard worker. Even at his school, Winchester, he was well known for being sort of having great plans. He is extremely diligent and hardworking. I think you will see more professionalism, certainly. His team are more professional. They're very good at undermining people, as they proved while Liz Truss was in office. And I think you'll get a greater sense of professionalism. However, can that just plaster over these problems? That's the big question.
It is the big question, because presumably, he is the man who is going to have to try and bring the party together. Now, I was talking yesterday to Bob Seeley from the Isle of Wight. He's the Conservative MP there. He was saying, well, we don't have factions in the Conservative Party. Of course you do. You've got them in the Conservative Party like you've got them in the Labour Party. Is Sunak the man who can do all of what you've already said, but bring all of them together? Because surely the Conservative Party must know that if they don't give a united front, they are signing their own death knell, because they're not going to win the next general election, which presumably all of them want to do, just so they can hang on to their seats.
I think he's the man most likely to do that, and I'd say even slightly more likely than Boris Johnson was to unite the party, because he doesn't have any of the acrimony that Boris Johnson would bring. He is liked among different factions within the different tribes within the Tory party. He's also resented within different tribes of the Tory party, and a lot of the Johnson loyalists feel very bitter towards him still. And it's worth remembering what a sizable part of the party they are, even if they're now slightly ousted. There's also Penny Mordaunt and her faction, who might be a little bit bitter about being overlooked.
She did have a face like thunder when she came out of number 10, didn't she?
She didn't look happy, no.
No, she was not happy, Bunny.
Not happy, Bunny. And I think she felt her time had come when Liz imploded. And it hadn't.
No.
I think she's struggling to deal with that, perhaps.
But most of them must recognise that they do have to come together, because I think at the moment the polls are showing that the Labour Party have got something like 50% of the voting public, and the Conservatives 25%.
There's definitely... Well, Tory MPs love to talk about the need for discipline.
Yeah.
Party discipline has been lost.
I mean, it's been said they're ungovernable.
They're ungovernable, but what they do is they sort of coalesce briefly and say party discipline has to come back. Now's the moment. They even did this with Liz Truss, remember?
Yeah.
And it doesn't last very long, because the factions are at war with each other. And do they know what they stand for? Are they a small state party anymore? Or are they a big state party that tries to appeal to red wall voters in the north? They don't have a clear ideological idea. Rishi, to his credit, was on board with Boris's sort of more Macmillan worldview. But, again, when push comes to shove on something like the NHS, are they going to ring-fence it forever? It seems like they are. Or are they going to take more sort of Tory-like measures and say, look, the spending on the NHS is out of control, we need to direct it better, we need to make painful cuts in the NHS.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that to a nurse a bit later on, because I think the NHS is in dire need of being totally just rebooted, isn't it?
Exactly. And over the winter, we could be facing a really, really serious crisis in the NHS. How will Rishi Sunak handle that?
Yeah.
That's a very big question.
One of many.